I want to make sure I have her card. I know her first name, but Herford, I think is how you say it. Ann Herford with Charleston Library of Things. And I said, can I say it? She said, no, I got it. So here she is. This is Ann.
Let's give her a big round of applause. Let's welcome her.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Well, there you go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I want to see a show of hands. How many of you have had a home improvement project where you did not have all the tools that you need to complete the job? Exactly. So what if I told you that there could be a place in Charleston where instead of having to buy all the tools you need, you could borrow them?
Perfect.
Enter Charleston Library of Things. What's a library of things? That's a weird name. Well, let me explain. So just like you might go to a library to borrow books, this is a place where you can borrow stuff.
Sorry.
That's okay. Categories would include DIY craft, garden tools, home improvement, kitchen countertop appliances, and miscellaneous items like camping gear. All right, well, there's a Lowe's and a Target 10 minutes from my house. Why do I need this? The biggest problems facing consumers today is that they don't have the money, the skills, the tools, or the space that they need to complete all their projects. In fact, 65% of community members that we polled said that they'd be very likely to abandon a project altogether if they didn't have all these components that they needed. Great, so how does it work? Well, for one low annual fee, you can borrow as much stuff as you want all year long, and we store the stuff so you don't have to. And because it's a sliding scale fee, that makes it affordable to everyone. And if you're not familiar with what sliding scale means, it means if you make $150,000 a year, you pay $150 a year. If you make $40,000 a year, you pay $40 a year. And those of you on the high end of the spectrum might be thinking, $150, that's a lot of money. Not really. If you go to Starbucks once a week for a whole year, that's more than $150.
True.
All right, well, I just need stuff, this one thing, this one time. What if I just buy it, use it, and return it? They're not going to know the rest of the Well, aside from the fact that that's unethical, jerky behavior, but, we all might be a little guilty of it once in a while, they're on to us. If you go to a big box store and you return that power drill that you used to hang some curtains that one time, they dust it off, they repackage it, they put it back on the shelf, and they raise the price. They know that we're doing this, and they don't want to suffer the loss, so we end up paying the consequence of that behavior. All right, but earlier I mentioned 4 things that stand in people's way of getting their projects done, and one of the things that we haven't talked about is skills. Well, we at Charleston Library Things want to offer the community workshops where you can learn to use the tools that you borrow. And if you already have a garage full of stuff and something breaks, we want to extend the life of that stuff. Why replace it? The more stuff we buy, it all ends up in a landfill when we're gone, and that's terrible for the environment. So why not extend the life of the things that we own? So we're going to have repair cafes. When we polled the community and asked them to tell us in our own words what would be the greatest incentive for them joining a library of things, they said community building. People want to meet like-minded people that are interested in the same things that they're interested in. I mean, you're not going to do that intramural kickball league when you're 50, so you may as well find some other hobbies to meet some new people. This sounds awesome when you open. Well, we can't do this without all of you. So learn more about us on Facebook and Instagram, build our following by spreading the word, grow our inventory by donating tools. Once we have the space, please, if you have empty, unused space that you want to donate to us, please share that space with us so we can open up shop and start serving the community. Charleston Library of Things. Learn, build, grow, share.
I didn't get through, so
okay.
Fantastic job. So now we're going to move into Q&A. So If you have a question, raise your hand, and I'll run around with you with the mic. And yeah, you're right here.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Great presentation.
Thank you.
My question is there a time limit on how long you can check out the items? Because if someone's paying money and they go to find something that they want to rent and it's not there, they might get a little upset.
A little annoyed.
Sure.
Well, hopefully we'll have multiples of things, but yes, just like with the library, there would be, I haven't said it yet, but it would probably be like a week, something like that, and just like a library or Once Upon a Time when you rent a movie from Blockbuster, we would take your annual fee by credit card. So if you started, if you didn't bring it back, you'd start accruing late fees, and after a certain amount of time, you would get charged the current market value of that tool. So that would be your incentive to make sure that you take good care of it and that you return it.
Hi, great job.
Thank you.
Great concept as well.
Thank you.
Have you considered going into the space for event planning and parties and things of that sort? And I'll tell you why. I had, for my son's wedding, I needed to buy something for centerpieces, and I ended up spending probably $600 on vases for the centerpieces. They just sat up in my garage, or the room over my garage, for many, many, many years, and I have loaned them out to many people, and they've used them for different things. My sister, my mother, and my grandmother were all caterers, and they were also the event planners for that business. So I have many things in my room up there that people have used over and over again. I think that the Charleston area is so strong in events that you might consider going into that space as well, and I think that could really open it up for you.
Thank you. That's a great idea. Currently, I'm trying to keep some basic common categories like the ones that I mentioned, but if I grew big enough where I felt like I could my space could handle that, then for sure I'd consider it. It's a great idea.
Hey.
Hi.
Whitney McDuff, great job.
Thank you.
I love this concept.
Thank you.
I know that I'm the type of person who sees an episode of Martha Stewart and goes out and spends $1 million thinking I'm a gardener or something, so this is perfect. This is more of a suggestion. I really want to encourage you to stick with the voice that you have right now, which is a little bit of humor. That is such a great way to get this message across, because I know there are a lot of people who are like me who get shut down by their spouses because they won't allow them to go buy some big piece of equipment or something to do something. So I just really want to encourage you. This is a great concept.
Thank you so much.
And you're doing a great job with your messaging so far, so just keep that up for sure.
Thank you. That's very encouraging. Appreciate it.
Hey, so this is amazing. I love this concept. It works well in other cities. Do you have a timeline to open and when you'd like to be going?
Yeah, last September. Some timelines.
Yes, if you want to know what people rent, go to a hardware store and see what they are renting. I hate to say we should undercut the hardware stores, but in fact you could. And if you look for things like rotor-rooter machines, very popular, hardwood installation devices, there's a few things that they rent over and over again, and you could go there and see, and you get a sense of what people really need.
That's true. There are tool sharing libraries and libraries of things in other cities, so it would probably be a great idea for me to reach out to them and see what their most often cycled through items are that people borrow.
So you literally just touched upon what I was going to ask. I know of this just kind of on a very basic level existing in some other cities. So I was going to ask whether you had identified problem areas that they've experienced, or whether you were borrowing some components of what they do.
I've definitely researched tool sharing libraries and library of things in other cities, and they've been very supportive, offered a lot of information and advice. So yeah, they've definitely been a really good resource for me.
Good morning. My name is Alex. I'm over here.
Hi.
Again, my name is Alex, and I'm with the Harbor Entrepreneur Center. You sort of mentioned in your presentation, which was super awesome, by the way. Good job.
Thank you.
That you needed help, maybe someone that could help donate some space to you. What is your vision with your storage and getting these items to your consumers?
Well, I've kind of been waffling between, do I want to start out in a brick and mortar space, or would it be better to have something like a short bus where I could drive it around to different markets and neighborhoods to get started, and then eventually move into a brick and mortar space? But I currently don't have the funds to buy a large van or short bus or to rent a space. So if somebody had the means to help me get that vehicle or that space as a donated space, not a rented space, to start out, that would be great for me. And it wouldn't need to start out being any bigger than a garage.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of stash storage, or anyone in here? Does anyone here use stash? I was just trying to brainstorm like easy ways to sort of store these without needing a storage unit or something, and someone that uses it might be able to attest to it.
I'd love to hear more about it
Yeah,
later.
for sure.
Thanks.
There's several nonprofits in the area. Hi, Billy Underway.
Hi.
Read Loud Technologies. There's some nonprofits. There's the Food Bank over in North Charleston, who has a huge facility. There's the Recenter over off of Long Point Road, and you might want to work with some nonprofits about co-opting some of their space.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
I was also going to say, depending on your budget and who you know, maybe there are certain people who have like a small room in their house. So,
Sorry, I definitely need a space that would be more of a commercial space, somewhere that people in the public would feel comfortable visiting. Women especially, if you think about it, are definitely not going to feel safe or comfortable going to a residence. So it can't be somebody's garage, basement, shed, anything at their home. It's not really safe. But thank you.
Hi, have you thought of how to use these tools? How to use the tools? A page on your website, each of the different tools and how they're used. Either you show how to use them, or link.
So you
someone
mean
who's-
doing like little short clip how-to videos?
Yeah, how-to videos on each of the tools.
Maybe down the road.
Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
So, when you were talking about the levels of sponsor, donate, was it membership?
Yes,
Agreed?
yes.
Okay, when you're talking about the levels of membership, is that the actual dollar amount you're talking about?
Yes, so
Relative to income?
yes, no one would ever have to prove their annual income. It would be honor system. And you know, some people, if they really like the concept, maybe they feel like throwing a couple of bucks at it to help out the people that might not have enough to join.
So that takes me to my next question. Have you considered pre-sales?
What do you mean?
I would pay you today to know that when you're open, I would have the access to that sewing machine.
That is an option if I end up doing like an online campaign, a fundraising campaign. I haven't quite sorted out the details of that yet, but that is in my brain as something that I want to do. But I would love the idea of somebody wanting to do that, and I wasn't really sure if I would get that in
Does that feel like
Charleston.
an unreasonable ask? Let's do it.
Great, thank you.
This presentation. I'm certainly going to tell my husband about it. What I wanted to suggest is, you know, on where I live in Legend Oaks in Somerville, they have a really robust Facebook Legend Oaks page, and people put things on there all the time. Do you have a crib I could borrow for the weekend? Do you have a hose I could borrow? You know, and I think going into, if you're really starting at a grassroots level, going into those sort of Facebook pages, I think would create a lot of chatter for you, and I think people would talk about it, because, you know, not everybody has I don't use tools, but whatever he just said earlier. Not everybody has those tools, but if you, or in the neighborhood, but if you have it on a Legend Oaks page where you're, you know, sponsored there, I think people would come to
Absolutely,
that,
it'd be
you know,
a great way to build membership.
So I actually had a couple of ideas. One, when it comes to your van, you talked about needing something for traveling. consider possibly one of those companies that allows you to put people's logos on the side and literally let them pay for the van. If it costs you, say, $700-800 a month to rent one, but you have $1,000 in marketing advertisement coming in, something to consider. That might get you a van right away. And there are companies like Move.com or something like that, I think, that do that. Second, I wondered if maybe you could also partner with some of the verticals. For instance, I want to do my own brakes, but I don't have the tool to take that system apart. What if you partnered with a local garage, a very trusted garage, who had those tools, and the idea being that it would be a reciprocal relationship where when somebody wanted to do it themselves, great, but when it was something bigger than they could do themselves, you'd say, go to that garage. You might be able to get some of those tools immediately without having to actually pay for them. So you could do that in car, you could do that in paint, handyman. As long as you're recommending those people, they probably help you out with tools.
It's a great idea, or great ideas. Thank you.
Good morning, Derek with Outsource CIO.
Morning.
Great presentation. Have you
Thank you.
considered Next Door Neighborhood, which is international, where everybody on those neighborhoods are asking for these types of things on a regular basis?
Great way to build membership.
Yes.
Couple of ideas. You had mentioned a commercial building and utilizing the space is going to be a safe environment. In today's day and age, Facebook Marketplace is pretty rampant, and a lot of people, women especially, are very comfortable having people go to a home to pick up an item. One of the things that I was thinking as you were sharing this is I have tools that I use, but I just don't use them often, so I'm not ready to just get rid of them. But being able to leverage the community and leverage the space that communities have, individuals have, that maybe I can have my tools for rent or for sharing, but yet your website or whatever it is you're going to have is a safe environment or a safe communication, just like Facebook Marketplace is, that I can go meet someone somewhere else and I can hand off the tool, but knowing that maybe it does come back. With Uber, with Lyft, there are apps that you can track where a person's at, and ways to log that.
The issue that I run into with that is, what if you need 5 things and now you have to arrange to meet up with 5 different people? I'd rather have a central location for all of the tools so you can just go there, get everything you need in one shot, go home, you know that you're returning it all back to the same place.
Yeah, and I think that's great, and I would also want that as well, to go to one central location, but then you gotta look at cost, and that space can really get large rather quickly, but also you could leverage the items that people don't want to get rid of, that now you have a larger library of things that you can capitalize on.
Sure.
I would just say, just think about that.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, dear. I think you did fabulous today, and I'm so excited that you're finally launching this and getting it going, because we've been talking about it for months. My name is Heather McKeon, by the way, with the Schoolhouse. Thanks, Freddie. So I have a couple ideas going off of what he suggested. What if you were to get a place like the Schoolhouse, or a place that wants to help give back to the community, and have like a date set up that you could say, okay, today we're going to work on automobiles. Or, I don't know what an example is of something that you might have.
A spot to host classes.
Exactly. So you would have people sign up that would want to come and use his tools one day, one location. You would be able to either be there or just, sign in, sign out, whatever. Another thing is maybe doing preferred vendors. So that's something that we'll do. So like John mentioned, having somebody that you refer to if they decide to get into something with their automobile and they're like, holy crap, I can't do this. I gotta go to the professional and I need that now. They might be able to sign something with you and give the people that are members a discount for being part of your, so it's a give. Another thing was with the rental space, like if you wanted to pay for a space, kind of along the way John said about the automobile, why not have sponsors each month? A business sign up to be a sponsor for your rental space, and they go ahead and pay that rent for you.
It's a great idea.
Those are just a few.
Thank you.
Okay, and so we are going to be wrapping up real soon, so only time for
probably Sally, I'm sorry, and then I have my question, so I promise it's not preferential treatment.
Yikes. Good morning, I'm Sally. I thought you did a great job on the
Thank
presentation.
you.
Super concise and well done. Okay, 2 quick questions. One, do you have any inventory right now?
I do not.
Okay. And then the second question is, do you have a form that you can give folks if they donate to you that they can write it off?
I plan to.
Because that would be great. And then right now is a good time because it's spring cleaning, so that you could really start a campaign for that.
Okay, and then to wrap up, I know we've talked about a couple of your needs, but if you had to ask for one thing from this crowd, what is the number one thing that we as a community can help you with?
Well, aside from space and or a van, I have a full-time job, so gaining the momentum and having the time to consistently push this through from a concept to a business is really difficult. If anybody wants to help partner up with me to help bring this concept to life, I really could use the help, particularly if you're somebody who has skills like tool skills, because I will eventually need somebody to teach. But definitely in any capacity, if you want to partner up with me to help me bring it to life, I could use it.
Okay, wonderful. Let's give Anne another great round of applause. Fantastic job.
That was really great, man. Am I the only one in the room, though, that when you hear the word skills, you think of Napoleon Dynamite? Girls like guys with skills? I love that. Great job. And I agree with Sally, a very concise and a great presentation. So definitely set a good bar.